1:26.089 for his lap, 1:25.998. So couple of hundredths of a second difference. Absolutely superb lap so far. Half distance. Now this is it really, isn't it? This is where we're really going to start to see who's got the answer in terms of the tyre situation for the second half of this race on this very, very hot afternoon, incredibly scorching track. Also, the other thing that you had a message from Nick Yellerly was talking about the level of grip that he found because of the surface, or the circuit being resurfaced.
Yeah, we just see Dino Zamparelli having a big oversteer there through that fast right-hand corner. But yes, the circuit has been resurfaced last year, and the circuit's probably gained about 2 or 3 seconds at least in lap time. So it's a very fast piece of racetrack now.
Now, as we watch Regalia trying to close down a little bit further, of course, she was very, very strong in the early part of the lap. Niederhauser now, this is significant. Patrick Niederhauser was second in the championship coming into this race weekend. Didn't have as strong a race as he would have liked, didn't get any points in race one. This perhaps explains why he's retired. The Genza driver picking up an awful lot of gravel. And he's off to Le Mans next week for the 24-hour race, so wish him all the very best for that. Let's hope it goes a little bit better. He's got to last a little bit longer than 10 minutes, isn't he, over there?
Yeah, no, it's a shame. Obviously, he'll be disappointed to finish his race weekend like that. After having such a strong Barcelona, he was really, really on form. I've just noticed that Melville McKee's actually just set the fastest lap of the race by about 4 tenths as he's come out of the pits. So maybe he has gone for a quick tyre change after a puncture or something like that. But yeah, he's certainly setting down some benchmark times very quickly.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of points on offer in the main race for that. So let's see if that helps him out a little bit in terms of getting some extra points. That would be a good thing for Melville. Vaino now, as you can see, sort of seesawing a little bit, but that last lap, 0.3 of a second difference means that the gap is now up to 2.3 seconds between Bizoyu and Vaino, which answers that question we had a moment ago about this second half of the race is going to be so significant in terms of understanding where everybody's at with their tyre wear. Well, at the moment, Bizoyu seems to be managing that superbly. Do you think a factor of being away at the front without anything affecting the way you want to drive means that you can drive in a more economical way with the tyres?
Absolutely, and to be honest, a big difference about starting from pole position is it's a completely different mindset. You haven't got any thoughts going through your mind about how am I going to overtake the car in front. You've literally just got, I need to make the start, I need to get away, going through your mind. That's all it is. All you want to do is just check out and not see a car in your mirrors.
Just at the back of that group of guys on the pit wall is Julian Rouse, son of legend Andy Rouse, the British touring car superhero. Julian very much an integral part of MW Arden, has been for some time, and doing a superb job of making sure that everybody works together as a very tightly knit organisation. Of course, last year's championship winning team with Mitchell Evans, of course, on board. What a nail-biting finish that was. We were talking about this earlier on, Alex, told me about how Mitchell was saying that really his head had completely gone for that last race, but he managed to keep it all together and had a bit of luck and just managed to nip Daniel Abt and Antonio Felix da Costa to the championship at the end.
Yeah, motor racing doesn't get much closer than losing it by 1 point, does it?
No, and it's devastating, isn't it? I think losing a championship is a heartbreaking thing for any driver, but sometimes you lose it by a fair few points, you can sort of be resigned to it and accept it, but by that 1 point, or 1984 F1 World Championship, Alan Prost lost to Niki Lauda by half a point. So that one would have stung a bit, I think.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they all did a really good job, and I think they all made a great impression on the powers that be in Formula One, and they did an impressive job for sure.
So let's watch with interest to see what happens to the drivers at the front, but also in this scrapping pack. Alex Fontana looking quite strong, the 2011 European F3 Open champion, raced in F2 last year. The Swiss driver putting a bit of pressure on Dino Zamparelli. Zamparelli having a strong weekend so far, getting some points in race one with 9th place, and look at the momentum there coming through turn one. Gets the job done late on the brakes. Nick Yellerly once again showing what a star this young man is, and edging past and making himself up into 10th position ahead of Fontana. I think Fontana was a bit compromised there going through turn one, and it really hurt him on that run down to turn 2, Alex.
Yeah, it's unfortunate really, because obviously Nick's showing the amount of pace that he had, and maybe Trevor was right when he said that he had the pace to win that first race. But we just see Luis da Silva getting back underway from maybe a spin.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way, doesn't it? He didn't finish race 1. It looked like a broken suspension at the back of his car that put him out of race 1. Carrying so much speed. So Silva staying offline there. Really carried a lot of speed into that last part of the final turn, did Vizzoy, showing you how balanced that MW Arden car is. Let's watch to see what the gap is this time. Their cross line now 2.449 to be precise, ahead of Vino. Vino lapping now around about a few hundredths of a second quicker than Vizzoy, but behind them Carlos Sainz half a second quicker than Vino. Elenis meanwhile on a 26.8, lapping at the same sort of pace as Sainz. And looking further down the order, Corjus, Regalia, Daly, Zamparelli and Yellerly rounding out the top 10. Nice close-up of lady racer Samin Gomez's car. Love these close-up slow-mos. It really gives a real sense of atmosphere of what's going on with these cars.
I'm hoping that in the last 5 laps, as there's not long to go, that we're going to start seeing some action. Maybe that Carlos can get a bit closer to Aravino, but it'll be interesting to see who's actually pushed a bit too hard at the start of the race, because there's only 5 laps to go, and yet the temperature is very high in Valencia, so hopefully we'll start seeing a bit more degradation and a bit of racing.
Yeah, it'll shake things up a little bit. We saw it in Barcelona, which is right at the end. Everything started to look a little bit more unpredictable. Corjus looking like he would have got the job done, but Vino in the end making it count. I think, you know, we were chatting before this race as to who we thought was going to get the victory, and we both said that Vino or Elenis were the most likely to, but couldn't have potentially guessed just what a good job Vizzoy was going to do. He just looked so completely in control of everything, and obviously MW Arden have really got the cars working very, very well.
He certainly proved us quite wrong, Simon. Yeah, the
not
car
hard to do though, is it?
No, the car balance looks fantastic on Robert's car today, and yeah, can't fault him. He's driven an absolutely perfect race so far. 4 laps to go. He's just going to be counting down the laps and just trying to keep it all together.
So just working out the points now. There was a 3-point gap, remember, as we see. Is that another change? Yes, it was. I think that was
Nick Yellerly.
Yellerly going past Dino Zamparelli that time, so that would put Nick Yellerly up into 9th place and just 1 spot off of getting a point. Now that could be very significant, because at the moment Conor Daly is on for 1 point, Theo Elenis is on for 8 points, so a 7-point swing would leave Elenis leading the championship by 4 points, and that could be an extra point if we saw another change, if we saw Yellerly get past Conor Daly.
Dino's lost a lot of pace from somewhere, either, like we were talking about, Simon, either his tyres have fallen off that cliff, or maybe he's got a problem, but he's certainly lost a lot of pace, and he's getting a lot of pressure from Alex Fontana now as he runs wide into the middle hairpin. And if Nick can get onto the back of Conor, that would be quite an interesting end to the race.
It would be, wouldn't it? And I think with the speed that Yellerly's got, let's have a look at his lap times. 127, 424. He's lapping around about the same pace as Regalia, Corjus, those drivers. So it's possible that if he can get past Conor Daly, he might be able to even make another couple of places up if he can be, if he's quick enough with the overtakes. In other words, if he can get stuck in early enough.
I mean, we can see already in the shot that he's caught Conor very, very quickly now that he's been released from being behind Dino Zamparelli. So it looks like that fight's going to be imminent.
Yeah, and again, you've got to say that Yellerly, I mean, they're not quite sure how he ended up losing a few places. I think had he not lost those places at the start, I think we might have seen him in the top 6, maybe even the top 5 by the end of this race. But he's certainly not giving this up at all, is he? There is the lapped car of Da Silva. We saw him travelling slowly earlier on after what we think was a spin. Elenis comes through. There's Fayat. Now let's look in the background.
The top 5 have checked out from the rest of the field by quite a big distance.
Yeah, so there's no danger, I think, of him, even if Nick was able to get past Conor Daly, of him getting much further up than perhaps getting past Regalia and Corjus. That would be about it, I think. And even that would be a bit of a tall ask. That would be impressive enough as it is now. That tells its own story, doesn't it, about MW Arden's pace.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz coming on really strong here at the end. It definitely looks like they've sorted out those tyre degradation problems, and he's coming on really strong. And see if Aragavino can withstand the pressure and hold him off.
Well, they had a test at Hungary in between Barcelona and here. Admittedly, it was in mixed conditions, but a lot of the teams coming back saying we really understand these cars, we understand these tyres a little bit better now. Remember, of course, it's a new car for 2013. For those of you that follow GP3 regularly, you'll know it's a completely new chassis, a 3.4 AER V6 engine, which pushes out 400 horsepower. Completely different understanding with the tyres. Now, Vizoyu, you've just noticed on the timing screens there, interesting, Alex?
Yeah, Robert Vizoyu setting the fastest last sector of his personal best last sector on the last lap, and then setting his personal best first sector. So he's really just going faster whenever he wants, really. He's got 2 laps to go until he takes this victory, and he's just turning the wick up at will, sort of thing.
And this has been a really, really important day for him. If he just manages to keep everything as it is, and as you quite rightly said, his lap times are superb this late in the race. He's just blisteringly driving 20 at the moment on circuit. So Silver actually putting in his personal fastest lap last time, so obviously that spin maybe has fired him up a little bit. 1:25.492 for Vizoyu as he crosses the line to start the final lap. In the background, Vino is under a little bit more pressure from Carlos Sainz Jr. this time. Likewise, Fiat putting a bit more pressure on Ellinas. Now let's watch that scrap behind of Corsius, Regalia, Daly and Yellowly. Let's see what that looks like. That would be the one that interests me.
Yeah, who have we got going down here? Is that Regalia down the inside of Corsius? Can he keep it on the track? No, Corsius, and then Connor Daly going down the inside of Corsius as well.
Watch for Yellowly. I think he's going to try and pick up the pieces here. All the 2 ART boys side by side, and I think Daly maybe has got momentum to get to the... No, he hasn't. He has to duck out of that. Well, that could have got very, very messy. Watch Yellowly. He's trying to find a gap and get the cut back there, and I think he's hoping that the 2 ART boys are too busy watching each other and maybe won't notice him nip to the inside. But I think maybe he's going to have to play it safe at this late stage in the race. And in fact, because of all that, Zamparelli's got on the back of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's a 5-car train for that position there for 6th place. So a lot of points on offer, and Connor Daly's going to be wanting to take as many as he can, as he doesn't want to give up the championship lead that he got from TLNS.
So Robert Vizoyu, this 17-year-old Romanian for MW Arden, comes across the line to take victory in Valencia in the reverse grid race. His first victory in GP3, an absolutely superb performance, and it looks like Aragavino is going to score some important points to take another set of decent points in the reverse grid race. Sights on the podium as well, ahead of Ellinas, who will retake the championship lead with that finishing position. And a little bit further back, Fiat, Corsius, Regalia, Daly, Yellowly and Zamparelli will round out our top 10. And there are the point scorers. So Robert Vizoyu takes the 15 points ahead of Aragavino, Carlos Sainz, then Tio Ellinas, Daniel Fiat, Kevin Corsius, Fatio Regalia and Connor Daly round out our top 8 here in Valencia. Well, Alex, that was an absolutely outstanding performance by Vizoyu. Right from the start, he got a brilliant getaway, got a great launch, and then just got his head down.
Masterclass. That's how you'd explain it. Yeah, absolutely perfect drive, and I'm sure he's going to be enjoying his flight home to Estonia.
Yeah, it's a superb performance by that young man, and you can see what it means to the team. Absolutely delighted. So let's see if my slightly dodgy maths might give me a chance to try and work out where everybody is as a result of that. Well,